They're the billionaire who's making an Olympics that are allowed to use steroids.
Yeah.
They start when they're 4, so they're going to all fucking train them like fucking crazy to be the best from a young age all the way up.
I think the only thing you'll see anabolically enhanced athletes would be like Olympic lifting.
Marion Jones, whatever her name is. All these people that were on that one Olympic gold that got it stripped for them. What about all them?
They were already the best.
So would you rather be 5th place in the regular Olympics or 1st place in the steroid Olympics?
All right, steroid Olympics. Last question. Who in the bodybuilding world that we know do you think would be the best in the steroid Olympics? All right, what is up, podcast? Welcome back to the Raw U podcast. The boys are back in town. We've been MIA for like 46 episodes, but we're on episode number 75 now. I have no idea where we're at, but we're rolling. So we got some questions. We got some topics. We're just going to bullshit and kind of roll into it. Right. But we are also rolling to the Super Bowl.
Yes, we are.
Tomorrow. Thursday. 2 days.
Thursday, sorry.
2 days.
What's today? Tuesday?
Today's Tuesday.
Yeah, Thursday.
Leaving Thursday.
Yeah. Chris is betting on the Oakland A's to win the Super Bowl.
I thought Wayne Gretzky was going to win.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to bet on whoever wins the most Stanley Cups in the Super Bowl. No, I'm the least sports guy of sports guys, and people were making fun of me because it's my first ever football game I've been to, and it's the Super Bowl. So kind of starting strong.
Yeah.
Maybe I never have to go to a football game again.
From here on out, it's going to be a letdown.
Seriously.
Yeah, for sure.
But we were just talking about betting, and Dom's betting on.
I'm going to bet on. I think the Chiefs are going to win.
You're betting on Mahomes, period, right?
Well, the Andy Reid, Mahomes, Travis Kelce combo probably, but yeah, I think they're going to win. And I'm not even really a Chiefs fan by any means, but
you're just taking the least risk, most educated.
But the odds are in favor of the 49ers.
Yeah, but
why? I really would like to understand why that is, though. Like what they see in the 49ers.
Well, I think it's just a fact of home field advantage, or the team that had the best record.
Is it like a subjective choice or objective? Like, is it people being like, I think they're better because Mahomes has more
there has to be.
or is it just stats like numbers?
There's a statistic behind it.
It's numbers.
There has to be. Yeah, there has to be.
Mook, look up let's see if their records.
Like their records for the year?
Yeah.
49ers and
the Chiefs.
Just Google why the fuck the odds are in the 49ers' favor.
Who are you going for, Matt? Do you know yet?
I'm pulling for the 49ers.
You want them to.
Yes.
But who are you going to bet on?
I would bet on the Chiefs.
That's what I thought.
What?
Like, why are the 49ers favored to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm just betting on whatever the opposite of you guys bet on. So
that's fine.
Make a little excitement
but
when we're in there.
I really like Christian McCaffrey, and if they do win, then this will be the first father-son to win the Super Bowl. Because Ed McCaffrey won with the Broncos.
Oh, no shit.
And then Christian.
That's pretty cool.
Won. Yeah.
The Niners have both.
Christian's dad.
Oh, to
Ed McCaffrey. He was a wide receiver for the 49ers.
Oh,
Brock Purdy has a better pass rating than Mahomes.
Who's Brock Purdy? I thought Christian McCaffrey was the quarterback.
He's the
quarterback. McCaffrey's a man.
Oh.
Keep reading, Chris.
Well, I just heard you saying Christian and Mahomes.
But if you keep reading, it literally says the league's rushing champion and running back Christian McCaffrey.
I got that now, yeah.
He also has the most yards from scrimmage, I believe.
All right, well, I'm betting for the 49ers.
All right.
Do they take $20 bets?
They do.
Let's do it.
They do.
But I also think that the 49ers have the most all-pros on their team. At least on the offense. 49ers have the most all-pros on their team. So they're saying if the 49ers don't win, it's for sure Brock Purdy's fault.
Oh, shit. So he's damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Yeah, poor bastard.
If he wins, it's not his fault. If he loses, it's his fault.
Correct.
And he gets paid the salary gap between it was last game, right? It was the Ravens game.
Yeah.
It was $14 million.
I think so, yeah.
Annually.
Something like that.
Wait, that's what he gets?
No, he only makes like $800,000 a year.
He's making $985 a year. Right?
Yeah.
It's a 4-year contract, I think.
What?
Yeah.
That's probably not right either, but it's close.
How?
Yeah. And then what's
Is
his
he
name?
like a Tom Brady and took a hit for a better team? Or
No,
he's
got
a rookie.
Yeah,
He's a rookie deal.
Rookie
So
deal.
he's stuck in his rookie contract. And then what's his name from the Ravens? Fuck, what's his name? I'm going to forget his name. Wow. You remember it?
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, just drive blank. The quarterback for the Ravens. What is his name, bro?
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson.
Good
Holy
job.
shit! Good job, Chris.
Paying attention.
$15 million a year.
I was waiting to get laughed at and be wrong there.
You were right. Yeah. His salary is $15 million 1 year.
I feel like NFL players don't get paid enough. Like compared to MLB, the risk they're putting their brains at.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
That's
I would
wild.
agree. Yeah.
Like $14 million to be like a big contract. That's small in the MLB, isn't it?
No, it's still good. It's a good contract.
Yeah.
Soccer is just on a different
Soccer
level.
is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
All right, we
I
doing
think
these.
he might be getting $20 million a year though, but
Who? Lamar?
Lamar, yeah.
Oh, let me look.
OBJ is getting 15.
No way.
Yeah,
That was
A
a waste
year?
of money.
he only got a 1-year deal, I think.
What are you looking at?
Holy shit, you're right.
All right, yeah.
No. Oh my god, this can't be right. Bro, his annual salary is $52 million.
Ooh,
Lamar's?
Yeah. Lamar Jackson has a 5-year, $260 million contract with the Ravens.
Yeah, so OBJ is at 15 million then.
Okay, they get paid enough.
Yeah.
$185 million guaranteed and an average annual salary of $52 million a year.
Damn.
Fuck.
I would take that.
That's nuts. And he didn't have a agent.
Yeah, he did his family.
He did that with his family.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How much does an agent normally take?
20%.
I think 20%.
20%.
Yeah.
Not a bad job to have.
Mm. That's 10 million a year.
So agents make more than most players if they're good.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh no, this is not right. Down here it says he has a $20 million, $20.25 million.
We're going to get fact checked hard on this.
I don't know. This is weird. There's two separate things. Yeah, I'll get fucking roasted, so don't worry. Whatever.
I'm just
Anywho.
ashamed that I couldn't just say Lamar Jackson on command.
I
To
know.
be
Yeah, the
honest.
fact they beat you guys
Pretty-
that is
that's
bad.
Pretty disappointed in myself.
It's pretty unheard of, actually. Chris beating us in the sports department. Yeah. So what's next?
So yeah, so this will be my first Super Bowl too, which I'm
Have you been to one
Really?
before, Don?
Yeah,
really
I've been to like
excited
5.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you
When my
bastard.
mom used to work for BJ's, they used to give us
yeah.
the Gillette Stadium. We used to have a box there, so I got to go to like all the Patriots Super Bowls, which was pretty dope. Really cool, awesome experience. There's like nothing like it.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
fucking dope.
and that's with that in Brady's day too.
Yeah,
That'd be dope.
yeah, it was dope. It was I was at the Super Bowl where they played the Giants, where they caught it. The Giants caught it on his fucking helmet.
Oh yeah.
That one, I was there. I was at the Patriots Seattle Super Bowl in Arizona, right?
I think
That was
so,
Arizona. And then I forget, I went to the one in Miami. It was the Bears and no, the Browns or the Bears against someone. It was when Prince was the halftime person. I don't remember what Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
I think that was the Bears.
It was
not
the Bears,
Browns.
right?
Yeah.
And they ran it back. It was like the first play of the game, ran it back for a
Yes,
touchdown.
yeah.
I was at that Super Bowl, and then I went to the Super Bowl in where was in Indianapolis. Oh, wait, I think that was the New York. Was that the one that was New York? The Giants and I don't remember. But yeah, this will be my 4th, I think. I was little when I went to those though.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, they're fun, bro. It's a good time for sure. Really, really cool. It's cool because everyone there like really doesn't buy, like everyone at the Super Bowl, it's like business. A lot of those tickets are given for like business stuff.
True. Yeah.
You know, no one, like there's a few people who will actually buy tickets to go to the Super Bowl, but most of those tickets are from like when we went to one of the Super Bowls, it was so dope. We got to go with Gatorade, so it was Pepsi, and they rented out a whole entire hotel. So we got to the hotel and then we walked in the room, and then on our bed we had custom Nike sneakers made with like the Super Bowl logo in them.
Damn.
And like for me, my mom, my dad all had duffel bags with like all that. Like it was when Gatorade came out with those energy chews. Remember they were in like the little like rectangles?
Yeah.
So they had just launched that. So the gym at the hotel was fully stocked with Gatorade and Gatorade chews and everything. The lobby was a grab and go because everyone at the hotel was there for Gatorade.
Yeah.
So everything was free. So like there was food running the whole time. It was pretty dope.
That's cool.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fucking wild, dude. The
Lot of
money
money
that
that
they
went
put,
into that.
dude, yeah.
That's not even marketing either, because you guys aren't promoting it. It's just for you guys to have.
No, it's so sick. They had like the Super Bowl that I went to in Arizona was crazy. Is I forget like the actual dynamic of what happened, but I'm pretty sure from what I was told, like the mayor of the city wasn't awarded tickets, and he was like pissed off about it. So he didn't get a extra police detail for traffic for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So all the buses, the way that the stadium is in Arizona where it was there was like a huge outlet mall, and then behind the outlet mall was the stadium, and then the exit for the highway was right there. And the traffic was so backed up on the highway that
This is you had to walk, right?
we walked.
Yeah.
We literally we were gonna miss the Super Bowl. The traffic was so bad that the Super Bowl started in like 30 minutes, and there was bumper to bumper traffic. You could see the stadium like over the underpass. So the people just the bus driver wouldn't let us off the bus because he was like, it's illegal for me to let you guys off on the highway. Yeah. So this guy in the back of the bus was like, fuck this. He opened the emergency exit of the bus, and everyone jumped off the back of the bus. And then every other bus did it, dude. There were thousands of people walking on the fucking highway in Arizona. It was crazy. But it was a cool experience.
Don't fuck with Americans and their football.
I think I was like 16 when this happened. But yeah, no, it'll be fun. I'm excited. Vegas is going to be wild.
There's a UFC fight. A slap fight Friday.
We're
UFC
doing
fight
the slap
Saturday.
fight.
Are we going?
We're going to the slap fight, yeah.
And then there's UFC fight Saturday and the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah. And then they're not even allowed. Did you see Roger Goodell's email or whatever? They're not staying on the Strip. They're staying 30 miles away. The players are staying at Lake Las Vegas. So they're staying in these older hotels that are 40 miles away because he's not allowed. No one's allowed to bet. He's like, if your family's there, if your fucking coach's son's uncle, he's like, no one's allowed to step into a casino and to a sports book. Because you could literally lose your career over that. You're not allowed to bet, right?
Even if the family does?
I don't think so. I think your family can, actually.
I feel like your family can.
Didn't Taylor Swift bet on the last game? There was an article about it. She bet $3 million on Kelsey winning the game.
Really?
Yeah, and she won.
Damn.
Yeah, pretty wild.
You should just follow her bets.
Yeah, just follow Hillary Clinton's stock trades.
Just had to throw that in there. If only I could follow them.
We just went 0 to 100.
You can. They're a public record.
That's what they tell you.
There's a Twitter account that follows her. Okay. So
rolling some questions.
Yeah, I'm pulling them up right now. Hold on 1 second. Did those just go right into my photo album, right? Yeah. Holy shit. Okay. When is the estimated grand opening date for Raw Athletic Club? I think it's Memorial Day weekend, right?
That's what we planned on.
We're doing the private event on the weekend, right?
We're going to do the private event on, Saturday, Sunday?
Something like that.
And then Monday will be the grand opening. And
Monday the 24th?
Monday's the
20th.
The Memorial Day. Yeah, and we'll do the Murph. We're going to do the Murph on that day.
Are you guys doing it with a weighted vest?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is that a public thing you guys are planning, or just the office workers and people we know?
No, fuck it. I'd open it up.
What if just 500 people trying to do the Murph?
So we'd probably have to do time slots or something like that.
It's a good statement.
Yeah.
We would need 500 pull-up bars.
Yeah. We'd have to figure that part out.
Well, Justin, the welder, was here today. He said he would weld us a crazy cage to do it outside. So we could just leave it out back.
We're going to have to sign some serious waivers.
We'll just sign the gym waivers.
Yeah. Someone's going to be fucking breaking that giant thing.
Probably.
I don't know if I can do a Murph, so I'm definitely not doing a weighted vest. I'll be 300 pounds.
Okay, so that's the answer to that question.
You have 4 months to train for it.
Bro, you can do it. 20 sets.
Yeah, but I also want to be big. I don't want to be skinny.
You're not going to be skinny? You're supposed to do
If I train for a Murph, I'll be skinny.
Why?
Because if I lose 10 pounds, I can do 20 more pull-ups.
Really?
It's crazy how much more it goes up. Yeah, I can do 20 pull-ups in prep. Right now I can do 8.
All right, I'm just going to starve myself then. That should help.
You already are.
Yeah, pretty much. Any tips?
Really?
Any tips for trying to establish yourself in business while still being young? These aren't just for me, right? These are all the questions?
Yeah, these are all
the questions. Perfect. Any tips for trying to establish yourself in business while still being young?
I mean, as someone who's not as business savvy as you, I feel I can give a different question of relationships. Just being a good person, being someone trustworthy and respectful to everyone, because I feel like I'm not the smartest businessman, but I just treated people as best as I could, and it made good relationships. And in the future, when I brought something of value to the table, people trusted me and they wanted to bring me to the table too. So I feel like that was the biggest thing I did, being raised right.
Yeah, I think that's the exact same answer I would give. I think that when you're young, it's really important to just stick by. You do what you say you're going to do. Make sure that you live up to your expectations and you don't overpromise. I would always tell everyone to kind of underpromise and overdeliver, to be able to kind of set the tone for what people expect of you. And again, like you said, I think the most important thing in business is just relationships. Learning to treat everyone with respect. You never know who you're going to need in the future, or what that person's going to end up becoming, or I can tell you right now that a lot of the things that have come to be really positive incredible relationships or businesses in my life were due to just meeting people and just like having a good relationship with them. So I agree.
Yeah. Anyone who knows Dom, he's the connection king.
I am.
Yes.
He's got anything you can imagine, guy, car guy, shoe guy, tint guy, landscaping guy, everything.
Yeah.
He's got everything in his phone.
And that's how they are in my phone too. I hate to say it. It's like Jim, car guy.
Remember.
Then you don't know their name. You're like, hey, brother, Dom sent me your.
What's his name? I don't know.
Just to add to that, too, I think that, for one, you don't have to be successful or good at business to have a work ethic. And the work ethic comes first. So that's something that you can work at. And then also just being a man of your word, I think, is another big thing. I mean, even for myself, like at 26, if I looked at my life at 26 years old, I didn't know that at 34 I would be where I was at, nor did I expect to be where I'm at now. But the work ethic part of it was there, and being somebody who stood behind what I said I was going to do and actually executing and doing it was there. So like, don't get overwhelmed. There's like these graphics of like, Apple wasn't where Apple and Steve Jobs and all these people. But you can control what's in your control, and work ethic and having a good work ethic and being a man of your word and sticking behind what you say you're going to do is something that can lead to successful business, even without it being there.
Yeah, I think another important thing here, and I think we've touched on this before too, is and I know a lot of people who are watching this podcast are into fitness, right? You don't realize how much of like that translates into business, right? Like, eating the same thing all the time, or being disciplined enough to eat the same thing, being disciplined enough to go to the gym and stick to cardio and doing all those things. Like, business isn't much different. It's just where you're going to kind of give your time to, right? So I think if you have the ability to compete, like Chris, like using you for an example, and Matt for you for an example, like you guys are the most regimented people that I've met outside of business, right? And I think all of those things, as I'm sure you see now, like fall into place when it comes to business. It's the same type of discipline, the same type of mindset. It's just using it towards something different.
Yeah, for sure.
So
except showing up on time.
It's all right.
1 minute late though.
1 minute late ain't that bad.
If I'm always 1 minute late, I'm always on time.
There you go. Okay. Will there be more than one Raw gym? If so, please make one in Dallas. I don't know. Take it piece by piece.
I got asked if we were going to franchise these yesterday too, and I said we just haven't gotten that far yet.
I mean, if it goes well, maybe.
I feel like if it goes well, we wouldn't plan to franchise. But if it goes well and we find the perfect person, we might give them one.
Yeah.
And then as we find the perfect people to run one, maybe they can open one.
Yeah. The key to these businesses especially is like, I kind of look at it as like alpha land in a way, right? Like the destination is part of the hype.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that I'm not saying that they wouldn't be successful if we open them all over the place. I just think it would take the right person, like you said, to be the face of it and be in there and creating that same culture and the same environment that we have here. And it's harder to do, obviously, than it sounds.
Yeah, they'd each have to be special in their own way.
Yeah,
can't just be like, let's open the same thing over there and have Joe Schmo run it.
And I think it's like a selfish pleasure that we just want to have a badass gym where we work, so we can just work out,
save time.
Seriously.
And then too, going back to the connections. I mean, okay, so like realistically, this isn't possible without your connections. I mean, 100%. It's not. And the time frame of which we're doing it.
No one's ever built a gym as fast ever.
Is insane.
Yeah,
No, we're like, 30 days into this thing? It's like almost done.
Everything. Even the equipment from Prime to all the construction you're doing. Everything.
Yeah. It's going to be wild.
Sorry, Pure, not Prime.
Pure, yeah.
Correct that one.
Oh, this one's a good one because people probably actually think that this is like way harder than it is. What's the process for choosing flavors for products? You literally taste everything?
Yeah. You request what sounds good. It comes in. It doesn't taste what the flavor name sounds like or tastes like, should taste like.
Yeah.
And then from there, we just go off of what tastes the best and then name it something.
I still haven't figured it out.
I would honestly say that, seriously, percentage-wise, out of all the shit we taste, what percentage of it tastes good?
15.
15?
I think less.
That's like 4.
I think less.
Think of yesterday. We did what? 10?
And one tasted good.
Were any of them that good? Which one?
Yeah, but even the one that was good, was it really incredible or was it like decent?
Or the tea. So maybe there's 20%.
The tea was decent.
Yeah.
So that's what? That's 10%?
Yeah.
1 of 10 there. And that happens a lot.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
really
so
honest.
I think it's
to
under
God.
10.
It's not anything special. You literally just
Yeah, it's almost discouraging sometimes. Like you have this full palette of samples to check out, and then you get halfway through it and you don't even want to try anymore because they're not good.
There is an art to it though that we don't like. When Katie was good at it for a while, or even Brent's pretty good, and they can be like taste them like the citric acid on the back end and the sucralose and too much Splenda and all that, and I'm like, it just tastes bad to me. You know? So I'm like, make it taste more like what I said to taste like.
I was gonna say it's so frustrating because like you obviously eat something and you know what that something tastes like,
Yeah.
and then you get a flavor and you're like, what the fuck is this? Like this doesn't taste anything like
Nothing.
this. And it's like they obviously can flavor this, so can you just put this flavor into this?
Yeah.
And it doesn't work like that.
And then
People are so
often,
different. Like lemonade could be like country time lemonade
Yeah.
tea. It could be lemon candy. It could just be like lemon and water. Like depends what you want.
Yeah, no, it's there's no secret to it. You just taste it until you get surprised, I guess.
Repetition.
Do you plan to expand out of Florida warehouse-wise to any other states around US, CA, NY, Texas? So we have distribution in Florida, Salt Lake City, and Nashville. We are, I think, looking for a warehouse in New York now, right? I think Brent was saying.
that's what we just talked about earlier. Yeah.
So New York, we're still looking for a warehouse, and I think that's it. So I guess, yes, we're looking for a warehouse in New York. That's a good question for you guys. What are the best first steps to take when you think about competing as a beginner?
I always say hire a coach. So Matt, you go from there.
I would say if you're like in the process of actually looking for a show, to give yourself more time than you think you need. I think that's one of the biggest things is like the first time you lose and you truly get into shape, like you still have, for lack of a better word, baby fat that still needs to come off that you've never lost your whole entire life. So give yourself more time than you think you need, and then don't get ahead of the day that you're in. And I mean, I tell that to seasoned competitors as well, but I think so many people like get overwhelmed and they look to 8 weeks out and where they should be at 8 weeks out when they're 15 weeks out. And then it just starts to like mess with the whole process in your mind, which is something I think you're very good at.
Not messing with my mind.
Well, like not getting ahead of yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's a very good characteristic for successful competitors.
Being able to remain calm.
Yeah.
It's also easy. I feel like when you're younger, a big thing is, especially your first few shows, don't get too stuck on one show. If there's multiple shows in a year, you're like, I can only do the Olympics, so I have to be ready on one day. But if there's like 3 shows that you could potentially do, get ready for one. If you're not ready, don't be
Give
stressed
yourself
about
like a window.
Yeah, you don't be stressed about pushing it back and actually getting in shape.
And then too, like I think ignorance is bliss for younger guys, you know, and it's like you don't have to do everything right. You don't have to have all the answers. Again, like stick true to your work ethic and work incredibly hard. Learn what biofeedback means for you when you're completely exhausted. Maybe you need to pull back off the gas a little bit. But, just enjoy it. Just try to have fun with it. I think too many people get too overwhelmed too quickly, try to do everything perfect, and it just ruins the whole thing for them.
Why the name?
Oh, why the name?
Like why Raw?
Oh.
So the initial name for Raw came from the fact that when Dom and I were talking, I liked using a lot of raw individual ingredients to make better products for my athletes. You know, just taking the citrulline and the beta alanines and the creatines and mixing all these things together. So that's kind of initially that, along with, building ourselves from nothing, from the ground up, adding those two things together of single ingredients, and then our mindset to the company and bringing them together under one name.
Yeah, when I think of Raw, I just think of like unadulterated, no bullshit. It is what it is. You get what you get type of I guess you could call it like a message. So again, from the ingredients to the people to our motto of what we believe in, it's just being yourself.
Yeah, since we really started leaning into it started with supplements, but when we started leaning into branding from like the beginning, like once the first guy left of content-wise, who we all know, it began to make even our content look more like Raw.
Yeah.
Like the edits aren't flashy with crazy flashes and edits and transitions, all this shit. It's super just like minimalist, kind of like a tripod in the camera, and leave it up to the content guys to find a perfect shot so it looks good without edits.
Yeah.
And that kind of portrays the message, the product, and the content.
I mean, even
Raw.
like architecture in the building, it's very simple, clean, minimalist. It's just I think it's all just what we like. Okay, this one is, how did it feel to start your business and what does it take? I mean, it takes everything. I don't know. I don't really know how to answer this question. It feels good. I mean, it's probably one of the most rewarding, but the most difficult things you'll ever do in your life. But I think really mainly it's just not quitting. You know, I think, you know, Chris has a really good saying, like, you know, have no quit. I think that in any business or any successful business, you go through a lot of hard times and times where you want to quit. And I think like anything in life that's worthwhile, you don't quit. And I think the difference between people who are extremely successful and people who aren't is the fact that they just didn't take no for an answer. So
yeah, I mean, you get what you give.
Yeah.
You know? The more you give, the more you get, but the more you give, the more it takes out of your like life force essentially. And I remember one of the days when we were in Aspen, me and Chris were going up on the hill, and then you were coming and then the shit happened over here and then you disappeared.
Yeah.
And then I was like, this is one of the examples where everyone like sees like Dom was like 10 businesses and all this shit. And they're like, I wish I could be him. And I'm like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't. I want to be on the hill right now.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather half the businesses and be on the hill right now.
Yeah.
But like, it's what it takes. You get it what you give, and like, you can't turn it off now at this point with all this shit going, you know?
No,
and
you're right.
at your age, it's what you love.
I love
You're
it,
building
yeah.
yourself up to be able to have a future where you can't shut it off.
Yeah.
But right now, to be at that level, you can't shut it off. Like when I'm in Olympia prep, what it takes, you can't shut it off.
Yeah, and I
It
think
takes everything.
The other thing too is like, right, like you have to kind of figure out a way of like, how long do you want to do this for? And for me, I want to do it for not that much longer. Like, so I'll give
At this
it
level.
at this level.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so I'll give it everything I have for the next however many years, because I know the other side of that looks like a lot better than this.
Yeah.
You know, not saying that I don't like this. I love what I do. I love all the chaos. I love feeling like I'm drowning half the day and all the shit I have to do. But I think, you know, it comes with, it's only going to be like that for so long until I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
You know, so I can't say there's not one part of my day that I hate, even the shit that goes wrong. Like it's for some odd, wild reason. I enjoy like the chaos of that, but I'm ready to not have to.
But even getting to the end of those hard tasks or like the hard weeks or,
Yeah.
you know, that's rewarding too.
It's kind of like the Brazil deal. Like that deal to me was like such a good thing, because it was like good and then it turned to shit, and then it was good again, then it turned to shit, and then like you just figure out a way to make it work.
Yeah, it turned to shit like 5 times.
Turned to shit 5 times throughout that whole process, and like every time I felt like I was just getting kicked in the dick. Like, you know, I would get to the end and it would be like, great, it's good, and then the next day I'd be like, sorry, no.
Nope.
So like that process, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you patience. It teaches you to figure it out, you know, and I threw a fucking Hail Mary at the end of that one and it just worked.
Yeah.
You know, so I think we'll talk about it more obviously when it's done, but it should be done soon. But it was, it's a hell of a story, that's for sure. Yeah. All right, next one. Okay. How do you find similar people that want to grow in life like you did?
Law of attraction.
Yeah.
I think this is actually a really good question, because I think a lot of people, I mean, I don't know how to answer this, like, but like there's people in your life that you will eventually move away from.
For sure.
Because it's not that I don't know how to explain this in a nice way. It's not that like you don't want to be friends with them, or it's just like you kind of can't anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You kind of become like, I don't want to say like you're a dreamer or whatever it is, but like if they're not going to support what you want to do, you obviously don't stick around.
Sometimes you just honestly end up organically just splitting apart too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think it's the same way from like, let's bring this back to training, and you related to something to training, but you know, like I went through so many training partners when I was training because ultimately people didn't want to train as hard as I did. And I think, you know, not to come at this from a negative standpoint, because the 3 people at this table, like we've done what they're asking, but we've also filtered through a lot of people who aren't the type of people that we need to be around all the time, you know, to get to where we're at, even with employees.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You know, the employees that work hard and want to be here, they last.
Yeah.
And the ones that don't quickly filter themselves out.
Yeah, I mean, but there's 2 sides to that too, right? Because like I have friends that aren't nearly as driven as I am, but I love them just because they're good people. They're super happy for me. They support me in every step of the way. And I think there's part of this, like, this question, I get all these questions all the time, right? Like, when people always talk about, like, people don't want to see you successful or whatever it is. And like, I don't necessarily think that that's true, because I've never been like that. I've never wanted to not see somebody be successful, but I don't know if that's because I'm successful, and I can't tell you if that is or isn't, because I'm in a position to where I don't know. Yeah. And I would like to tell myself that I want to see everybody win, but if I was in a different position, I don't know if that would, I don't know. I really don't know how that would feel. So I want to say yes. I want to say that I would root for everyone, and I do. All my friends that I know and everyone, I try to help everyone I can. But, we don't really know. We don't know how it would be if shit was flipped or if it was a different way. But I do know that I have great friends that are not as successful as me, that I believe root for all of us on a daily basis, because they're good people. Mm-hmm. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you feel good friends and not good friends. Like, even if you're kind of growing apart, like you said, organically, it does happen. Like, I have tons of friends who don't care to do what I do or at what level of anything. They're living their life, but we're still good friends, but we've drifted apart. Yeah. Because I've gotten so much more busy. My life has changed. But when I see them, they're so excited for me, happy for me. It's like we're old friends again. Yeah. And we've drifted apart. We're not the same friends. And I mean, I hang out with you guys now more because we're at work all the time, and that's more like-minded. But it doesn't mean I'm not friends with the other people anymore. I just see them less. Yeah. And because they were actually good friends, they don't resent me for that. They understand. Yeah. And they're all there for it.
I think it's the friends that like you just said, right? Like, I have friends that I won't see for 6 months to a year. I won't even talk to them sometimes for 3 or 4 months. And then it'll be like a text message or something, and it'll be like, you pick up right where you left off, right? Mm-hmm. And it's like good conversation. Everything is back to normal. And like when you see them, they're like just grateful that we're spending time versus like annoyed that you haven't spent enough time. Yeah. And I think that's how you can tell real quick, like if your friends actually care and if they don't. Like, if you're going to have... If both of you understand that, you both have really busy lives, or maybe one does and the other one doesn't, but let's just be grateful for the time that we can chill together versus like making me feel like shit about not being able to hang out with you more. Yeah. So I agree with that.
I really do think the law of attraction is huge too. And not like even as mystical as people seem to be, but I was thinking after the X Games about Carly, because in the last couple of years, I just started doing a lot of work with a therapist and really trying to like be more like vulnerable with myself and like deeper in like the emotional side of things. And Carly's like the epitome of that. She's the king of pulling that out of people. That's all she is. She can't be fake. She's real as fuck. She's just like a really good person. And she randomly like saw my content, and she was going through a difficult time with someone she was shooting who wasn't like that. Thought that I maybe was, reached out to Calvin and came to shoot me, and we became like such good friends. Now we have a shit ton of business in Nashville. She lives in Nashville. Yep. We go to Aspen. She's shooting the games in Aspen. Like all these little things that are just connecting her into my life right now, which are so weird. Yeah. And I keep finding all these people who just are like popping up in my life more often, who I'm a lot more like. And it's weird how the universe works like that.
Well, I also think like you've obviously, like you said, have become more vulnerable in like the way that you feel and what you're doing. So now people feel like they can relate to you more. Yeah. You know what I mean? Before it was like, if the people didn't know who you were, they'd be like this big yoked fucking dickhead, but now.
Big bald asshole with a beard.
But it's just
until I open
now.
my mouth. I'm like, oh, it's a teddy bear with a lisp.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Do you believe there's a positive or negative shift coming of the fitness industry? I think it's positive.
I think it's positive, yeah.
I think the negatives, I mean, I hate to like use this like word, but like that like broccoli headed era of.
I thought you were going to say fuckboy, but
yeah, I was going to say fuckhead. I was going to say that first. I should have just said fuckboy. But I think that era is done. I think it had like its little claim, like rise to fame, but I think you're starting to see a lot more back to education, back to, really learning about health, and you're seeing the right people get the right attention. So I think the fitness industry is. And I don't think that was really a bad era. I think that there's a reason for everything, but I think that maybe because it went that way, it rebounded much quicker into a different direction. And I love what I see.
Yeah. I mean, even just like the purity of, let's be honest, with Sam Solik's, like his videos, and you pointed it out because you guys, I wasn't even aware of the reach that he had, but I think it took getting a certain genre of guys in the industry that were overly flashy to then make him pop off the way that he is.
For sure.
Just simplicity and purity. Yeah.
mean, it's like that vicious cycle. Like everything repeats itself.
The pendulum.
You know what I
And
mean?
it took those the fuckboy culture to get
Broccoli-headed dangly earrings.
to him to pop back off.
Yeah.
I
You
think we
know,
have
like
some dangly earrings in the office, so you better be careful.
Oh, shit, there is. I know hate. You know? Maybe I'll get some too. I think it's going in two directions, like you said, though. There's a health. They're both positive. They're kind of like parallel. There's health, and then there's like authenticity, like Sam
Yeah.
too. Like just like genuine good guy. Doesn't give a fuck about the fame, the fortune, all the bullshit. Didn't even care about going on podcasts. Chris Williamson
I saw he
posted,
tagged him today.
Tagged him
Yeah.
like, hey bro, I'll have you on my podcast anytime. And he probably won't even like it or reply. Doesn't care. He's like, I don't want to travel. I just want to work out. You know, it's just so like pure, and people are like, fuck yeah, like just do your own thing. And then there's the people who are really caring about their health. Everyone's becoming more functional, and I think people are honestly less inclined to be bodybuilders now who like can't move. They want to be like jacked, like athletic. They would never call themselves CrossFitters, but people want to be CrossFitters.
I think they call them like hybrid athletes now.
Yeah.
That's like the new
They
name
won't use
for
the
it.
word CrossFit. But
Yeah.
it's the same functional.
Same shit,
It's the
yeah.
same
Same
bullshit.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah.
I actually was just watching. What was that thing that Noah Olson just competed in? Was that the Wadapalooza in Miami?
In January?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's every January usually. Yeah.
So
it
it's
must be.
kind of like a triathlon, except you don't run, you don't bike. Like you do like a training thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like you swim, you run, and then you do this like partnered training.
I thought it was a CrossFit workout.
I'm sure it's a.
Is it
CrossFit
High
workout.
Rocks?
I
Do you
don't
know what High
what the
Rocks
fuck
is?
High
It's called
Rocks?
Wadapalooza.
What's
well,
High Rocks?
High Rocks is kind of like CrossFit. This is a whole new world. And actually, Justin Jacoby's sister is the female world champion of High Rocks.
What?
And it's legit. It's like, so it's more structured. So every race, I believe, and don't.
Bro, I think this
criticize
is what
me if
that
I'm
kid
wrong.
was talking about when we had lunch with Kyle.
So there's like-
remember the kid that was sitting next to me? He's like, "Have you heard of this thing?" Remember? And I was like, "No, I never heard of it."
So CrossFit is still random. Like you can show up to the CrossFit games and you don't know exactly what your events are going to be. But High Rocks, I believe, is the same events every time. There's always rowing involved. There's always something like the high ball tosses, squats. There's running involved, but it's more consistent.
Like the same thing.
It's the same thing, yeah.
That sounds
But
dope.
it's cool.
Yeah, but I was looking.
And there's
at
less
that.
risk. Like there's no Olympic lifting.
Got it.
It
So
takes the fun out of it.
Wow.
I love CrossFit. The fact that it's like every time they show up to the game, they don't know what they're doing. Like the one year, they're literally like, all right, guys, like they show up to California for it. And like, pack your bags. We're getting on a plane. We're flying to fucking Austin or whatever, the farm. And they did a workout on a farm and then flew back to the ocean, San Diego, swam in it. And like, they don't know what the fuck they're going to do.
Yeah.
They don't know if they're going to fly somewhere, if they're going to stay there. If
What
they're
is
gonna
this
run,
for?
swim. CrossFit games.
No shit.
They have no idea.
So when you start for the CrossFit Games, you don't know what it is.
No.
Yeah, you don't know the
Each
events.
day they announce the events and you have no idea what you're about to do.
That's pretty dope.
That's why you have to train for everything.
That's pretty dope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And
pretty
they'll
cool.
create new events every year, so you can't even prepare for it.
Well, there was like one of the things I saw Noah doing was there was like a squat, like
What's this
it was
guy's
like a Noah Olson. It was like a worm, like heavy bag, and it was 3 guys, and like there was a guy in the middle of the bag, on the end of the bag, and on the front of the bag, and they had to like do like shoulder switches and
Oh,
like
go
squats
over?
with it, but they
Yeah.
all had to work in unison to like do it.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope. I thought it was
Cool.
cool.
It's going to be S3 next year.
A pivotal moment that significantly influenced each of your approaches to business. Mine's my mom. I watched my mom, work her way through like corporate America and just work her ass off. So just watching her was what I think made me.
Was there a specific moment?
I think it was more so like towards the end when I think the work ethic was by just seeing it, right, as I was growing or as I was getting older. But I think like the moment which made me realize I wanted to do it for myself was when they sold BJ's. Like the first time they sold it, I think it was like 1 or 2 billion, and she got like nothing of that, for like basically dedicating 30 something years to it.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck that. I was like, I'll never do that for someone else. Like if I do this, I'm going to do it for myself.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the work ethic and like whatever I got to whatever I have that got me to where I am today was by just watching her
Yeah.
over the last 30 something years that I could have. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, my mom did really well for herself, but I think it's just like when you see someone work that hard for someone else and then like that other person gets everything, it's it's tough. And I think that's why we run this business a lot differently than most, right?
Yeah.
We take care of our people a lot differently. I think it's because I truly think like in order to be successful and in order to build something bigger than yourself, you need to take everyone with you that's been a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that we do a great job of that. So,
Yeah.
What about you?
I think, like you said, you know, and like I said, before I was a successful or even considered a successful businessman, I had a work ethic, and that came from my dad.
Yeah.
100%. In terms of a pivotal moment, I think I'm continuing to have them.
Yeah.
Some of which I don't really want to talk about on here. But early on, I went into a business relationship with somebody that I thought I could trust.
Was this the coaching thing?
Yeah. And
You never actually told me the story. Like I never even knew about it.
yeah.
What was the name of it?
It was Innovate. It was the name of the coaching.
And that was with the other Nick guy, right?
No. This was with
He's like, I don't
somebody
want to say
else.
any names.
Yeah.
No,
So I was like, let's say them all.
Oh, who gives a fuck?
No.
There was wasn't that the guy Nick, remember that kid that
Oh, that was
was his name Nick, right?
no, Jason.
No, fuck you, not that guy. The guy that we sponsored that was friends with Hayden, he was a coach. Remember all that shit came out about him after?
Nick.
Was his name Nick? It might not be Nick. Tom.
Oh, Nick Tom. Yeah, but he worked for me.
Got it.
Nick, I don't know what dog
Bleep
I'm
those
talking about. No, so anyway, went into this coaching business, and I fully trusted this person because he was basically doing all the back end work and all the web development and all these things that I knew nothing about. But then as the business went on, after all these structures were in place, we had a 50-50 split on everything, and I was doing 100% of the work for the remainder of the time with just the simple
two
infrastructure.
people. It was just you and one other guy.
Yeah. So I realized that like you can't just trust everybody at face value of what they say, and two, that people are going to try to take advantage of you. So starting with Dom, that's the second business opportunity I ever took on because I had trust issues.
Yeah.
When I was super young, and again, like I was confident in my ability to coach, but I wasn't confident in my ability to build the infrastructure to build a business. So I think there's 100%, I thought there was value there, but to see that reoccurring payment go out month after month when his work was done, after a year plus, it was hard to see. Cause then at that point I was doing all the labor.
Yeah.
But again, like this is it's going full circle back to the first question we answered, like trust in yourself, trust in your work ethic, and then surround yourself with people that, and really with Dom and I've told this many times, like our whole relationship has come down to communication.
Yep.
Over and over and over again, communication. Even to this day, with as much as Dom trusts me, we're on year 4 of business.
Yeah.
I still don't spend a dime without communicating it to Dom.
Yeah.
I always ask just because I want to keep that. What's most important to me is our relationship and keeping that structure there, so that's what I would say.
How about you?
Business related. I feel like
but you have to treat yourself as a business, right? Like, don't look at it as like you created your whole image.
Yeah.
So like that is a business.
I mean, I feel like I've explained the year of 2018 in the hospital and the impact that had on my life many
You
times.
did.
So I feel like business related, outside just myself, was when I was with Jack Factory and we launched my first product with my name on it, and I saw it was like the #1 selling product in the brand, and it was growing all this hype and the amount of money it made. It was the biggest check I'd ever got in my life, but I was still like, they're still making more than me,
Yeah.
And then I got offered a piece of that, and it was just like a slap in the face, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, no, I don't want to grow your brand to be this big. I clearly see what my value is right now. It's the #1 thing in the company. Why wouldn't I do this myself? And then that was like, again, like fucking green lights opening up right when you guys kind of reached out to me to do this thing. And it was the perfect timing, but it was honestly making that much money and not even caring about the money. It was the most money I ever made. And I talked to you guys and were like, you're not going to make that much money right now. You're going to it was 1/10 of what that was, of what my salary went down to. And I was like, fuck it, but it's going to be mine, and we're going to build it, and we're going to create something that's actually like ours.
Yeah.
And that was a lot more exciting to me. So
Yeah.
that was the biggest moment for me that allowed me to like do my own thing.
I think that one of the things that I get asked a lot, and I think that it's really important to talk about, is like I get approached a lot for opportunities of whatever it is, investing in a business or doing something with somebody. And you guys hit the nail on the head where you say it's so important to know the people that you're getting into business with, right? Like, we know each other now. We didn't know each other when we first started, but we've created a great relationship. And a lot of people will come to me all the time. They're like, well, how is it working with all these partners and this, that, and the other? And it's like, partnerships are great when everything goes well, right? And granted, we're very blessed, but like, usually partnerships turn to shit when things don't go well, right? Like when the business doesn't do well, or when, you know, whatever was supposed to happen doesn't happen. And I think, like you said, it's all about communication. But I do want to get into a little bit of like, I think the most difficult part of business is people. And a lot of people don't realize that. I think business itself is pretty easy. If everyone did what they were supposed to do, and if people were great, business would be the easiest thing in the world. So business really has nothing to do with a product or a tangible good or marketing. Business has to do with people. And if you understand that and you get good people, business is easy. And if you don't get good people, business is really fucking hard. Mm-hmm. So I think if I could give anyone any advice in this case, is it's like, just know who the fuck you're dealing with. And don't jump into business right away. You know, if you want to do something with somebody, like, stick around, watch what they do for a little bit, try to learn them, try to understand them. And then if you get that good vibe, anyone can be good for 30 minutes in a meeting. Yeah. You know, anyone can bullshit you for 30 minutes, or, you know, some people can bullshit you for a long time. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like, being around someone for long enough, you're going to see who they are and what they stand for. And I think that that's probably the most important thing that you can get out of it.
Yeah. I mean, again, bringing that back to how we started, like, the number one tip for getting business is like relationships. Yeah. How you treat people and all this shit. And like, part of the reason I'm here is because when I was a kid and Matt saw me when he was coaching Ian, he was like, he felt like he could trust me. I was gaining this popularity, but he knew when I was younger, I was a good kid. I was respectful. I wasn't an asshole. I wasn't going to fuck anyone over. I wasn't like this dickhead. And he believed it because he knew me. And I wasn't like trying to show him that so I could have an opportunity in the future. It was just who I was. And it ended up here. And now we've been doing this for 3 years and we can trust each other.
That's what I was going to say too, like, about you, is I feel like you're viewing yourself as a business, as Dom said, like, your business awareness, going back to those days in Toronto, it was like always there. You know, like, okay, let's use Instagram for example. Like, you've never not used Instagram with purpose, or as far as I can remember back. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, because when I first got Instagram, I thought it was like a place where I could hold pictures and put captions by them. So it was like random and stupid and quesadillas and just like dumb stuff. Like, you've always been like ahead of the curve with that. I feel like
I'm a little younger too. Maybe that's part of it. You old fucks. But yeah, for sure.
It's true. Okay, next. Hold on. Locked me out. What's your advice for a 23-year-old who has no idea what he wants to do with his life?
Well, I heard a good quote. You guys can. I don't need to go much deeper than this, but it was, you don't start something because you're passionate about it. You continue because you're passionate about it. So I say when you're young, try things and stick them out. Yeah. Because you might start it and hate it, but if you get good at it, you're gonna love it. Yeah. But you can't get good at it unless you stick with it. So you might have to like drag yourself through some shit to actually like become really good. Go through some hard times, learn some lessons, follow some good people and all this shit. And then when you get really good at it, next thing you know, you're like, I love doing this. And think, because you're good at it. We know we're human. We love winning.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's rare. You know, I think it's rare to know what you want to do at a really young age. I think one thing that, it's so crazy because I get these messages all the time. Like when I post like the gym or whatever, people who I went to high school with will be like, bro, I remember you talking about this when we were like in gym or like whatever, you know? And I don't think it's normal I had this vision in my head from when I was 16 years old, and I literally, to a T, I mean, much bigger than I ever anticipated it to be now, but I just had this in my head. And the whole time I have like a weird thing where like I can actually see things like in my head, like fully pan out to like ultra detail before they happen. Like, I mean, like pictures of like me doing things before I do them. And, I don't know if it's like a blessing or a curse because it puts like a lot of pressure on me, but it works. So I don't know.
But I think combining what we both said, you were passionate about the gym and the clinics and what you were doing, but you weren't passionate about running them. Because at first you were like wanted to quit. You're like, what the fuck am I doing all this shit? But you stuck it out.
You have to.
And you work long enough, and now you're passionate as fuck about running the business and
because I learned.
health and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
because
again,
you learned and you're good.
Exactly. Yeah, when you start anything, you suck. I mean, and that's the best advice I can give anyone on this is like anything you do new, you're not going to be good at right away. I mean, there may be a few people in the world who just get lucky or, have this God-given talent to be great at something. But at the end of the day, I think that's a curse because I think the hard things you go through to become better at something is what truly makes you great at what you do. Mm-hmm. So all those micro failures that I took time after time after time after time after time, it just taught me how to do things the right way. And now I can basically take all those failures and attribute them to every business we have. Like, with Raw, with Revive, with Bum Energy, with Relive the franchise, like all those little things that I fucked up before, I know how to not do that anymore. And business, again, like I said, it's all the same shit. It's just different products that you're selling, or it is, the foundation of all of it is similar. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. Okay. So don't freak out. 23, you're good. This is actually a cool one. How has your perspective on success evolved throughout each of your journeys? It's a deep question.
That is a deep question.
I don't associate success with money at all anymore. And I used to associate it with money. I think that money is a great piece of it. Like, I think that obviously, like when I'm thinking of like goals in my head, they're monetary goals, but it's not for the money. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that sound right, or does that sound stupid?
No, I get it.
Does that make sense?
I had a monetary goal, and it was $100,000 a year.
Okay.
And that was like my version of success. And then when I hit that, I was like, oh, this is, what now? Like, all right, I need a new goal.
I think my goals are more affiliated with, I know this sounds fucking stupid, but like relationships, quality people, quality of life, living a fulfilled life, being a good friend, a good husband, hopefully a good father one day. Like that's where my version of success comes from. And I think those are the things that, I don't know. I think that's to me is like, if you're good at that shit, like you're successful. Yeah. But granted, again, like I'm in a position where I don't have to worry about monetary things. So would it be the same if I wasn't in this position? I don't fucking know. But to me right now, my goals are on that.
Yeah.
I posted this the other day, but it was like, success to me, it comes down to slow mornings and, being surrounded by your family and being able to work out in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Like,
freedom.
Yeah. And I think going back to that question, I think at one point in my life, I viewed success as busyness and a full schedule and, having people always bring demands to your plate. And, obviously for me as a coach, like winning. And now that I'm older, there's nothing better than a morning where you pick up your phone and maybe there's no messages, there's no notifications, like those are the mornings that I crave now, and that's, like last night I got home and like the boys were extra snuggly and just like sitting on the couch with them for a few minutes. As soon as I got home, like that's what I view as success.
Yeah.
Yeah. What?
You guys just
I watched this.
You guys just explained that.
Yeah.
Live to
Wait,
100.
we did?
I've not seen that.
Bro, that's a good show.
You guys just explained that exactly. Like,
So
the
that,
version of success is just longevity.
yeah, longevity, freedom. I think it has a lot to do. I think a lot to do with a lot of those things. But yeah, that show's crazy.
Yeah.
It talks about how you never watched it either.
No.
It's good. It talks about like I think they're called blue zones.
Yeah.
People who like live over 100
So there's
most
zones.
consistently.
Yes, there's like continents that have people who live over 100 and towns. Sorry, and they
Continents. Damn.
well, one of them was where they dropped the bomb in China.
Hiroshima.
Yeah,
Japan.
Japan, whatever.
Japan?
That's one of the that's one of the towns, bro, that has people like the most people over 100, and they attribute it all to exercise and eating healthy, obviously.
Yeah.
But watch the show; it's legit. And love,
Yeah.
love's good.
Wild.
How do you stay adaptable in an ever-changing business industry?
How do you stay adaptable in an
Yeah.
ever-changing business?
I guess like how do you keep up with like trends? Hire 22-year-olds
Literally.
that stalk Snapchat and Instagram. all
Talk
day.
about the most difficult part of business being people.
Yeah,
Hire people who are trendy, but they're younger and they come with more
issues.
issues.
Yeah.
Sure, you said it.
Yeah. That's it. That's the answer. I mean, I think you can't be naive to the fact that, your business is going to outgrow you, or, you're going to kind of lose touch of your audience over time. So you need to stay in all those trends. And we literally have kids that live on TikTok and they bring all that stuff to us. So, I mean, that's the best answer I can give you.
I feel like it comes down to setting like some things that are concrete that you aren't going to change.
Of course.
Like some shit with our products and our values, some of our shit. Because there's been some products that come out that we could have just tried to copy because they were trendy and they might have been like good, but we're like, that doesn't match with our brand, so we're not going to do that. But then there's types of marketing and stuff that's trendy that we'll jump on. So it's like having some stuff that's like set in stone that won't change, and then some stuff that's written in sand that you can just restart whenever you need.
Like today's Instagram post.
That was good.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was so good.
You got to add a little flair in there sometimes.
So good. What strategies do you use to stay ahead in a competitive market?
I mean, I would say I don't necessarily, being honest, we don't have very many conversations about how we stay ahead.
Yeah,
And
I think
it comes down to staying true to ourselves.
Yeah, I think this is a really cool one because we don't pay attention at all. I mean, really at all. We kind of just do what we think is good for us and what fits in line with our brand, and that's it.
Yeah, like to a fault sometimes.
Yeah.
We're kind of like when we start sitting down and be like, we need to look for athletes. We don't even know who's in the industry.
Yeah.
Anything that's going on, we don't even know anything that's
Yeah.
going on. We're like, fuck, we should probably pay more
I
attention.
think it's a
but
blessing.
It's good
though.
we don't, for sure.
I think it's a blessing. I think it's we take a lot of inspiration from other industries like clothing, streetwear, art, things like that, where I think copying or trying to like keep up with the Joneses of who's the best, who has the best pre-workout, who has the best this. I think all these brands are great because they're so unique. Like if you look at, I would say the number one pre-workout in the country, probably Bucked Up right now, I would say.
Yeah.
They have such a unique audience and they have such a unique like brand identity that you can't copy them. And I think it's great. And I think we have such a unique audience and such a unique brand identity that if someone tried to copy our shit, people would be like, that's literally raw. So I think there's a beauty in being original, and I think staying original throughout. I mean, I'll tell you right now, there are some brands that are very successful that I believe have copied the path of other brands, and you can see it. Like if you look at the product, you're like, oh, that's that's already been done.
Yeah.
They're
Especially
just kind of
clothing brands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you look at, the authenticity of Raw, the authenticity of Bucked Up, the authenticity of First Form and what Andy's done. I mean, there's a reason why all of these companies are so successful in the same space. They're all doing what they think is catering to their audience, and they're just being themselves.
Yeah.
And it's worked really well, so I don't see a reason to change it.
Yeah. I feel like we see a lot of shit where we're like, fuck, that's really cool. But we never say, fuck, that's really cool. We should have done that.
Yeah, no.
We're just like, damn, that's
Yeah.
dope. Good for them. And
Yeah.
then move on.
Absolutely. Is there an end goal for Raw? Sales per month, distribution, et cetera, or just continue growth?
To the moon, baby.
Yeah, I think obviously growth, right? You always want to see it get better and better. Sales per month. I think I mean, I don't say I don't look at that because obviously that's my fucking job. I have to look at that. But I don't think anything that we do is geared towards this as much as it's geared towards, getting into a new channel or, getting into a new distributor. Like those are the things that are important. I don't think like top line revenue obviously is important and there's a reason for that, but I think we look at things a little bit differently.
I think based off a conversation we just had, to specifically answer this is, yes, top line revenue, but not just top line revenue. It's also, we don't sacrifice margin completely to care about top line revenue.
Correct.
To say, hey, we sold X amount of money, but we really made fucking 2% of that. You know,
Right.
It's actually caring about not just spending useless money to make useless money, but actually caring about the ratios in between what you make and what you
Put in
make
your
the
pocket.
top line.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But also, we aren't a building that focuses on money. Like we don't have a war room here with like, we don't go in the beginning of the month. Make sure you hit it at the end of the month. We don't have a call center here.
No.
Like it's not a top line driven.
No,
That's
we
not
really.
at all.
I mean, we really don't even have KPIs in place for our sales guys, like, which we probably should, if I'm being
The
honest.
sales
but-
guys are a little more, we should.
Yeah,
But like in terms of everything else we do, we don't talk about money at all.
no, I think it's more just like relationships. Again, this fucking sounds so stupid, but it's. I mean, our relationships with our big are big, I guess you could say, FDM accounts and all those things. It's what you lean on that, right? With Quick Trip for Bum Energy, with Walmart and Sam's for Raw. Like those are just relationships that you nurture. And if you nurture them and you do what you're supposed to do, then they produce.
Yeah.
Vitamin Shop, GNC, same thing. Raw in Brazil, is it going to happen? Yes, it's going to happen for sure. Where do you see Raw in 5 years? The growth is just getting started. Bigger. Same but better. I don't know how to answer that.
Same integrity,
Yeah.
larger scale.
Yeah.
You don't have to answer all of those, by the way.
There's not that many left. This is a funny one. Why did you choose Port St. Lucie as your location? Just a very odd place for such a big brand. I don't disagree with you.
Cheap property.
It's
The only property
the only
in the
place we could
area.
get a almost 160,000 square foot warehouse. I don't know. I think I can attest and attribute a lot of where I am in life to not being in a big city. And I think a lot of people will say the opposite. I think people will be like, oh, you have to move to Miami. There's more opportunity there. Or you got to move wherever, fucking whatever big city you want to plug into that saying. But I think that having no distractions and being able to truly just like hone in and focus on, you know, my goals and my family and my wife and, you know, my friends, I think has made me who I am today. So I wouldn't trade that for the world. So that's why.
Yeah, I would agree too on same point for employees is we've struggled a lot finding employees because there's not a lot of people around here and it's not a big city. So there aren't highly educated, highly experienced people here, but people move here for us and they either are here for the brand to work for us and they stay, or they wish they lived in a big city and they leave, but that's because they're not meant for us.
Correct.
You know, if they're come here and they're truly dedicated to the brand,
Yeah.
working for us or not, they're going to enjoy the city because we all live, sleep, breathe
Yeah.
the brand, you know?
And the city, I mean, they take care of us. You know, the people in this town and the people, like,
Yeah.
they know us. They treat
The
us
benefit
well.
of being a big fish in a small city.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of it too is like peace of mind, right? Like especially for you, bro. Like you couldn't live a normal life in Dallas
Oh,
or
yeah.
New York or fucking Miami.
Every
You'd be
time we
miserable.
travel to big cities, I
Yeah.
can't go to the gym. I can't
No.
go anywhere. Yeah, it's fucked.
You know, at least here it's like it's a respect thing. People who know who you are really don't bother you at all, and then the people who don't just have no fucking clue who
Most
you are.
people don't.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it up with the steroid Olympics or just wrap
Oh
it
yeah,
up?
no, steroid Olympics for sure.
I'm keen about. I was super excited about it until I sat there thinking about it. And I mean, you touched on it with the genetics, but it's not even genetics. It's the
It's
kids.
ethics, work
The
ethic.
point is, they're the billionaire who's making an Olympics that are allowed to use steroids.
Yes.
But the parents are realistically the ones that make these kids now because they're
100%.
good by like 18.
Yeah.
They start when they're 4, and they're not going to let their kids do steroids because they want to win the real Olympics, not the steroid Olympics.
Yeah.
So they're going to all fucking train them like fucking crazy to be the best from a young age all the way up, and they're going to be in the real Olympics because they care more about that. And then it's just going to be a bunch of goons in the steroid Olympics.
You're not going to see any if it's true Olympic sports. This is my personal opinion. You can tell me I'm fucking crazy in the comments. I think the only thing you'll see non-strength or non-steroided or sorry, the only thing you'll see like anabolically enhanced athletes would be like Olympic lifting.
Or shot put.
Well,
maybe.
still, it's a form of throwing or
Something.
whatever. You know, like
Yeah.
they're not going to swim.
Let's go with this argument.
Okay. Lance Armstrong.
Marion Jones, whatever her name is, all these people that were on that one Olympic gold that got it stripped for them. What about all them?
Because they were already the best.
Yeah, those people.
Or at least 3rd or 4th in the world.
Okay,
and
so
then
I
it
don't.
added.
There's different. There's
I'm
a
just-
difference.
I'm
okay,
just
and
bringing
here's my
up
here's my
devil's
difference, right?
advocate.
My difference is that girl
What's her name?
trained
Marion
since
Jones.
Yeah,
Am I botching her name?
no, that's it.
Come
she,
on,
she trained
look it
since
up,
she was
Mook.
fucking 2, right? Like, let's be real. That girl's family trained. These people that are going to be entering the steroid Olympics are going to jump on steroids tomorrow, and they're going to train for like a year, and they're going to try to do this.
Or it could be the people who are like 5th in the Olympics, knowing they're never going to win.
Okay, I was right.
So they jack it up.
And that those people will probably fucking be incredible.
Yeah.
Then.
I am curious.
But then would they here's the other thing. Would they sacrifice leaving the real Olympics to come do this Olympics?
If this billionaire offers, like, I'll give the winner fucking.
It's not about money. Think about Live Golf and PGA Tour.
Yeah, so I guess that's true.
There's a pedigree to being in the real Olympics versus being in this asshole's fucking steroid Olympics.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone would sacrifice that.
Depends if someone's realistic enough to know they're never going to win because they're 5th place, but they're still really good, so they'll go get a quick
So would
bag.
you rather be 5th place in the regular Olympics or 1st place in the steroid Olympics?
5th.
I'd rather be 5th in the regular Olympics.
What if you were already 5th place in the in
Still.
the regular Olympics for like 3 years,
Uh-huh.
and you kind of like some kids are coming up and they're starting to get better than you? Maybe you have 1 year to go win a quick bag over there.
No,
No,
I'd stay.
I also wonder with these enhanced athletes if they're going to get endorsement deals. And this is coming from my bodybuilding
I feel like they
mind
wouldn't.
of bodybuilders.
Bodybuilders
Not
don't get
mainstream
them.
ones.
No, like Nike's not sponsoring a fucking juice head.
yeah.
No shot.
I'm also curious how much of the people in the Olympics already take shit
Well,
Yeah,
that's-
a lot.
and just know how to cycle it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's only so much you like. Blasting trend is going to help you win the 100-meter. You know, if you're training, you put on too much muscle and your fucking muscle fibers are
Yeah, you can't
exploding
move,
or
right?
something. Like it's not good.
They need that guy. What was that guy from the Netflix show? The guy who did the
Yeah.
The Russian guy.
no, the white dude in California. He had the what was it, CLA or whatever that he made popular.
Oh, you're talking about Balco.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Balco Pharmaceuticals.
Yeah.
What was it? What was his drug? Was it? It wasn't CLA, was it?
ZMA.
ZMA.
Yeah.
You saw that documentary,
ZMA wasn't that like a
I
popular
think
product?
magnesium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what he started with.
bro?
Oh.
The
He's getting
guy,
these people in the door.
Oh shit.
dude, he's
He's
hammering
giving
these
them the
dudes
cocktails.
with all kinds of steroids.
Damn.
And he said the only reason he's like, I'll do it all for free, just promote my ZMA product. So all the like Barry Bonds was promoting ZMA, slamming tests.
Marion Jones was another one.
Yeah,
You think so?
fucking
Yeah.
smashing baseball bats in half.
They ended up catching him through the trash.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, but he knew because remember the guy. So what was happening was the cops were stealing his trash, and they were taking it down the street, and they were going through it, and then they were throwing it in a dumpster.
Yeah.
And then the fucking guy who owned the dumpster went to the guy's house and was like, "Stop throwing your fucking trash away in my dumpster."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'm not." And then he realized they were stealing his trash to go through it. And I guess it was like, they saw it, was it Barry Bonds's like some athletes like whole drug protocol, like week 1, week 2, week 3, come off this week before that, like the whole thing. Damn. So he got popped, but he had a whole fucking crazy operation going on.
I also feel like steroids mainly make a huge advantage in aesthetic rather than performance-based stuff.
I mean, what's the one for?
Well, it does something to
triathlon?
bat speed for sure.
No, what about,
I mean,
no, what about the
guess
one
so.
that you were talking about for like
EPO.
endurance sports?
EPO,
Yeah,
EPO,
I mean
yeah.
that's
Yeah.
legit.
yeah.
Yeah.
There are certain. I think first of all, it would take a very smart person to be able to do this the right way.
Do properly.
You know what I mean?
Imagine
Like,
Usain Bolt in his prime with like perfect amount of EPO,
Insane.
a little like
Yeah.
test and DECA
Crazy.
or some shit or
Yeah.
whatever you needed, you know?
just recovery alone. I think
Yeah.
in the recovery department, you would see a huge like with growth hormone.
That's true. Because they wouldn't be lifting weights or eating a lot. So they could still like eat, they probably eat nothing and train every fucking day and just
Yeah.
feel
And
great
recover.
and roll. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you would see the biggest difference in the recovery.
I think too, when you're talking about these drugs in true medicinal dosages for the Olympic athletes to not destroy their bodies,
Mhm.
be so much better. Which is probably what more realistically what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yeah.
You know, not like crazy amounts, but like
Yeah.
just like
If people are competing in this,
200
they're gonna
grams.
actually have someone teach them what to do the right way.
Yeah.
They're not just gonna be like off the streets.
CrossFit would also be fucking interesting.
Bro, CrossFit's already on steroids. Are you kidding me? Have you seen those people?
I don't know. I mean,
I 100% some of them do.
yeah,
like
some
for
of them,
sure.
but I don't know about the top guys.
But I don't think like the women do. Not all of them, sorry.
Some of them women look like refrigerators, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't think Tia Toomey did them.
I don't even know who that is, but I
Beast.
believe
She's
you.
the goat of ever in CrossFit, men and women. No one could beat her. She fucking got pregnant, did another, not the games, but another competition like 6 weeks post pregnancy and got second place.
Post pregnancy?
Yeah.
No shit.
Bro, she was training up until the day before she fucking delivered. Like, she's a beast.
She didn't know.
Yeah, she did one while she was pregnant. But it was like the first couple weeks. You know,
yeah.
you're not really
Didn't
affected
someone
then.
do a triathlon pregnant?
I think so, but I think what you're talking about is a lady that came back and won like right after she had a baby
Okay.
or something.
Did you see the guy who did the fucking Ironman with a tree on his backpack? A 50-pound
Was it Ross
tree.
Edgley?
Who the fuck's that?
This fucking freak.
Is that the
does
guy
this
who
endurance
swims
stuff.
like across the? I think
Yeah.
it was him.
He swam for like 6 months or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, his face was all fucked up
Yeah,
after.
his whole
That
body.
guy did a triathlon with a fucking tree on a backpack, like a 55-pound chunk of a tree
That guy's a fucking freak.
strapped to his back.
He's like
swam,
the real
swam,
Goggins.
did everything.
The real Goggins.
Might be easier to swim if it floats.
Bro, a 50-pound fucking tree
It
on your back?
floats.
I don't know.
You just fucking
Does it float?
a log?
I don't know.
Bro, if it sunk, he'd be on the bottom of the river right now. What do you mean?
Maybe he was cheating. I don't know.
It's still hard.
It's hard for sure. I watched it. Like he popped up on my Instagram like 2 days ago because he was like doing his like rower thing for his arms.
Oh
like,
yeah,
for
definitely
swimming.
Ross. Yeah,
Bro, his back is insane.
yeah.
He
He's got
has,
a
like,
really good book.
He's got a machine that like you use to like I guess it's like almost like a rower, but it's
Yeah.
like individual for your
Yeah.
hands, and his back it's just insane.
Yeah, I think his book is called Resilient.
I'm sure.
Sounds
about right.
Resilience or something.
Do-
That's good.
Do you
It
follow
explains
like
his
you
swim.
follow that guy?
Yeah, I've met him before.
He seems legit as fuck.
Yeah, he's a beast, and he's a cool guy.
Yeah. The real David Goggins.
That's what his book should be called.
The real David Goggins. David Goggins is gonna come yell at me now. Who carries the boats?
Yeah.
He's carrying a log.
Yep.
All right,
Yeah.
Steroid Olympics. Last question: Who of in the bodybuilding world that we know do you think would be the best in the Steroid Olympics?
Oof.
I mean, I would say Ian right now because he's training to be a fucking trainer. But he's also natty right now, I'm pretty sure. So that wouldn't even count.
What sport?
Yeah. What event?
What event?
Let's say like a pentathlon.
What the fuck is
That's-
that?
Sprint, run, 800 meter, long jump, high jump.
It's just running. Like
You shot
a
put?
slew of running and
You shot put,
too?
100 meter, 800 meter, high jump, long jump. 5. I
It
think.
has to be an open bodybuilder.
Or just somebody that can? I mean, let's be realistic. Like, if you train for it, I would probably put you in the mix.
Is it an
Really?
open bodybuilder?
I don't know, man. Some of the guys, like Ramon's got crazy genetics.
I'm going
than I
Andrew
do.
Jacked.
Andrew Jack.
Yeah, that's.
Bro, are you
Andrew Jackson.
kidding me?
Yeah.
He's a genetic
He's- yeah,
freak.
He's good.
Samson probably too, if we're in that
Not
category.
Not
Hottie?
Hottie.
No.
No,
Yeah,
no,
Hottie.
not Derek.
Yeah. Love Nick, but not Nick.
No, not Nick.
No, I think it's fucking Andrew.
Yeah.
I feel like he's like a cheetah.
You're not wrong.
I'm dead ass serious.
I mean, I
The
feel like
dude's
I've
a
even
cheetah.
seen like Blessing like fucking move it when he was like 270.
Yeah.
Like sprinting.
Yeah.
When he used to do his little joke.
Andrew, like I met Andrew
Wait, in Dubai.
in
Me.
Dubai. Yeah, like what was that 4 years ago? 3 years ago?
2019.
Yeah, and he's just like he just looks like a freak athlete.
He's a fucking freak.
Yeah.
Seeing him in person is crazy.
Yeah, I think it's him. And he's super nice.
Yeah.
Super. That's such a crazy story. He just became famous by being Larry Wheel's training partner.
Yeah.
Maybe we should make bodybuilding Olympics. Tell them all to retire, pay them more money than the Olympia does.
It's not going to be hard.
And then sip my drink. We can wrap it up there.
All right, episode, what was it, 75?
86.
86.
24.